Maine Enwell and Owego are both undefeated, and both have already locked up a playoff spot. The Spartans and Riverhawks come in ranked #1 and #10 in New York State as well. Winner of tonight's matchup will also now have a home field playoff run. Big implications on the line, and these two could see each other in the postseason. Pick it up in the second half, tied at 7. Both defenses playing strong. The Riverhawks wrapping up Landon Rollo there for a loss in the backfield. But Owego can't do anything because Maine Enwell says, whatever you can do, I'm going to do the same. We move now as Preston Ocker finds himself in the end zone for the first score of the game, and the Spartans are up. Riverhawks struggling on offense in the second half, trying to get things going. This one can't connect, and less than 2 minutes to go. Spartans with the ball, 3rd and 5. They're chewing up some clock. Vincent Mancini getting some crucial first downs here, and then the nail in the coffin. Jaden Branch staying upright and diving past the goal line. Maine Enwell getting the hard-fought win, 21-7. They are the top seed in Class B and remain undefeated.
The Purple Tornado fans hyped up for the matchup with Shenango Valley. They would love to see Braden Hagenbach taking off and into the end zone for the first score on 3rd down. The Warriors find Nate Marinaro for a dump off, but he'll take it to the opponent's territory. A simple handoff ends up being a fumble, and it's lineman Michael Griswold looking to get in for 6, but he would just be short, getting tackled by the quarterback. Some good hustle play on that one. On Warriors' 4th down, they can't find anything. Norwich wins this game 46-12.
All right, so let's take a look at the Class B standings. Spartans, the top seed. They will take on the 4-seed Yellow Jackets, that in the semifinal next week. Owego will remain home and look to bounce back as they take on the 3-seeded Norwich Purple Tornado.